Welcome to a brand new Five Heart Podcast live on a Thursday night on Coronation's YouTube, Facebook, and X. I'm Greg Mahachko. This is my co-host and wonderful friend, Minnie Hunt. How are you doing tonight, Minnie?
Wonderful friend. I'm good. How are you?
Doing well.
Yeah. How is everyone in the chat? I hear we just swept Illinois volleyball girls. Yahoo!
Tedrick says another sweep for volleyball. B2B, our volleyball is unmatched.
It's true.
Says this could be the greatest team ever. So,
the greatest team in history of volleyball teams.
I feel like it's a delicate dance of talking about them and their accolades, but also like not wanting to jinx them. So I'll just say, well done, ladies, and let somebody else, bring up their accolades, and they haven't. I don't want to say it. I'm just superstitious enough that I don't want to say anything that may come back and harm the Husker volleyball team.
Okay, I have a question, you guys. Greg, it sounds to me like your microphone is not like all there. Does it sound to anyone else? Huh?
I said, or maybe I'm just not all there.
No, it does. To me. Does it sound like that to anyone else?
Let us know in the comments if you think that my microphone sucks.
It's like playback or something. I don't know.
I mean, I'm doing laundry behind that door, so I don't know if that's part of the problem.
Like reverb, maybe? They're not even listening to us, so.
They're having a conversation.
Well, shoot. Sound is a little off. Okay, good. Greg, your microphone sucks. There you go. I'm glad that it's not just my imagination. There's something going on there.
You know what? That's probably one of the twins who came down here messing with things.
Which one could it be?
Oh, it's Matthew all day long.
The cute one or the cuter one?
Matthew all day long. I can't quantify them. It's like picking a favorite. Well, sounds like we're 10 feet away.
Yeah, it does sound weird, like it has reverb or something.
Wonder if that's is that any better? Y'all, I guess I have to talk to.
No.
Not better at all.
Like there's when you're talking, there's like some background noise, almost like a reverb.
Okay. Let's see.
Anyways, while you're figuring that out,
I like it.
I'm just now getting recovered from this weekend in beautiful Lincoln, Nebraska. It is so beautiful there. Fall leaves, every color tree you could imagine. Purple, red, orange, yellow. It was gorgeous. We don't have that here in Phoenix. We don't get fall.
What color trees do you have in Phoenix?
Green.
Green.
They just stay green all year long. Huh?
They're just cacti in the desert.
Well, no, we have trees. They just stay green for the most part. Yeah, we have plaid trees.
Dave's here says they're brown. Brown trees.
Yeah, it's not better, Greg.
Okay, well, shoot.
But I do know the thing about Lincoln is pretty soon all those pretty leaves will fall off the trees, and there will just be twigs left on those beautiful trees. And it's not so pretty.
Is it audio still craptastic?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. What are you doing over there?
I don't know.
Maybe if you were more than 30 seconds early, it might have not happened for you.
Sure. Is it still bad?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, I'll be right back.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. I can imagine winter sucks there because it's not even winter yet. And when I woke up Saturday morning, I looked at the temperature and it said 40 degrees, but it said it felt like it was 28 degrees. And I know for certain that is exactly how it felt. It was so dang cold that I don't know. I was forced to go and buy a long parka, which I told you guys about on Monday. Um, no, I know. This is what's crazy. There's people who don't they wear shorts in the winter in Nebraska. They walk around. I can't. I can't. My blood is thinner from being in Phoenix forever. And yeah, of course, this weekend, guess what, guys? I mentioned on Monday that I may be able to go to the UCLA game, and I'm going. So I'm so excited. I haven't even told hardly anybody. Um, going, I'm going to meet Connor there. That's, of course, where he's from. He's from like Orange County. Um, and yeah, we got tickets. He got us all tickets. And so I'm going to drive over Saturday morning, and the game's at 8, so I should be there probably, I don't know, afternoonish, and just kind of tailgate and see what's going on and hang out, and then, yeah, game starts the game starts at 6. I keep saying 8 because it's 8 Central, so it starts at 6 there. Um, I'm so excited that I get to go because I don't know, I have a really good feeling about this game. What did you miss? Fred, I'll tell you what you missed. Guys, Greg's microphone was off. So I sent him packing. I fired him. Kidding. He's he's not exactly fired. I just laid him off for temporarily. Yeah, Greg sucks. You got to hop on. Hey, that's actually a good idea. While Greg's not here, I'm going to make an invitation to you guys. If you want to join, you can join. You know, I love it when you guys do. I'm going to give you the link here, right here in chat, okay? Come say hi to me. So yeah, Greg's mic normally sounds pretty decent. And Nebraska weather was just, well, you guys know. Most of you guys live there. It just was not for the faint of heart, which I am. I've only been, this is probably the latest I've been to Nebraska. Yeah, November 1st. This is the latest I've ever visited Nebraska. I tend to stay away in the winter, but I had been romanticizing Lincoln, Nebraska by watching all these Hallmark movies, you know, where the girl goes and buys a Christmas tree from the Christmas tree lot, and then she finds the man of her dreams. It's always complicated, but I love those Christmas movies. Um, I bet February's awful. Oh, yeah, I bet it is. And November through March sucks. Okay, so that's the trade-off. Here in Phoenix, it is, let's see, June, July, August, September usually suck. So that's our trade-off. No, I haven't had any wine yet, Tedrick. I kind of want to start the show though, if it's okay with you guys. Yeah, actually, this would make a good combination. Clearance CVS wine, and Hallmark Christmas movies. I actually prefer Walgreens clearance wine to CVS clearance wine, but you know, if either one has clearance, I'll take it. Let's see. Okay, so with USC, that was a great game. We had that game in hand. Everybody knows it. Um, Final score 21-17, USC. If Dylan Raiola hadn't been hurt and pulled out in the third quarter, I believe that we would have had that game in hand. I think that it caused such a disturbance, not only on our offense, but defense and even special teams. I mean, we missed that 52-yard field goal, which Kyle Cunanan easily hit before. He just didn't have enough leg on it. So it was a great game. It was a great game. I know we lost, but it was a great game up until the time Dylan got injured. Can we agree on this? Our defense was strong. They were so strong. 3 and out every single time they got up. The score was 14 Nebraska, 6 USC until Dylan got injured. So, yeah, and then Dylan got injured. Uh, they got the ball, right, on that turnover, and, defense was up. Very next play, there is a fight on the field. Javin Wright gets pushed, and Matt Rule sees it from the sidelines and freaks out, wants to call a timeout because there's all kinds of chaos on the sidelines. Um, yeah, it just was crazy. But they did. Thank you, David. David Matney, living in Omaha. David Matney has the first positive comment of the night, you guys. Let's celebrate. He says, at least they continued to fight. Amen, brother. That's all I ever want. I don't care. I mean, I do want them to win. But in a team that is developing and has young players, we want to see them fight and be in each game, and they were. So, all right. Nebraska strong, go big red. I get what you're saying. He says, Minnie, how can you call a game where we got an L and lost our starting quarterback for the year a good game? Because exactly what I just said. Up until that point, it was a good game. It just it was disheartening, but I don't want to focus on the loss necessarily as much as all the good things that we did. There were a lot of great things. Um, like I said, the defense actually played great. Our offensive line held up. Hello. They were doing great for the first time all year. They were doing great. Um, how did he enter? Oh, okay. Yeah, we finally got a turnover. Christopher Shantz, thank you so much. It's so true. Der Hund says we need to hire a coach specifically for the fourth quarter so we can finish strong. Yeah, well, I I don't know if you I just feel like this last game you can't necessarily say that because the fourth quarter we had different play caller in who's not experienced in a competitive game. TJ Lateef. And, with the noise in the crowd and just how chaotic it was, he still did some good things. But I think this week of preparation for TJ Lateef is going to be crucial for him kind of getting his footing in being able to start at UCLA. Yeah. Nebraska Rascal is right though. Our third quarters are worst quarters of the game typically. If you look at our stats throughout the year, where we tend not to score are the third quarters. I love that, TJ. Another positive comment, you guys. Or Joel Tilson, sorry. JT, not TJ, JT. He says TJ will finish the season strong. Thank you. And Never Mind Me says, oh, I don't even know what you're talking about. Why did I click on that? Sorry. I don't know what we're talking about there. Something about being a cold game. Is it the Iowa game that you're talking about? Durhan, that's funny. You know, Will Compton would make a good like finishing coach if we ended up needing one. But I think we're doing okay. I think the guys were hyped to play this game. I know they were. And even in the press conference this week, let's see, I have a quote from Luke Lindenmeyer. He says, "We remember what happened last year with UCLA." I don't know if you guys remember that very well or not, but 27-20 was the score, and they won coming into Lincoln. And after we just almost beat Ohio State by, was it 3 points? So that game felt a lot worse. And I think the guys remember that game. At least that's what Luke Lindenmeyer says. And they're gonna play like they remember it. Yeah, this is fun. I got to see the other day in Lincoln. You guys, this guy right here is a true Scarlet and Cream fan. He flew in on Saturday at noon. He has a family here in Phoenix. He flies in. I think he had to make a connection, flies into Lincoln through United, and then he gets there. I think his very first stop, if I'm not mistaken, was to the souvenir shop, the bookstore maybe, and he got his kids Husker gear. And they're just little toddler kids, and he got all 3 of them Husker gear, and then he heads over to the, um, the tailgate that his buddies were having, and then he goes to the game, and then he flies home the very next morning, first thing. He makes it home before I even get up the next day. That's commitment. I love that. Good job, the other Dave. Yeah, Greg is just missing. I don't know if he's coming back or not. I love this. Joel Tilson, bring on the positivity. 9-3 is possible. It is. Especially if TJ plays like we know he can play this weekend and going forward, and they keep building on what they've already been building. Yeah, if you want to fire up your laptop, Fred, you're welcome to join. I don't know what's going on with Greg and maybe his USB actually quit on him. Yeah, I'd love for you to join. Um, okay, so moving back to the USC game. Sorry, I got off topic for a second. We were talking about, yeah, Dylan getting injured. Score was 6-14. Beginning of third, they ran that flea flicker. Lincoln Riley, so genius. And then a field goal after Lateef fumble snap, and it's the end of third. Yep. Oh, yeah. So that's what they were actually talking about this week during the press conferences when they were talking to TJ Lateef or about TJ Lateef is that is his number one goal. We just want him to take care of the football. In fact, that's exactly what he said. He said his focus is to protect the ball. He's going to do what he knows. And it sounds like, I mean, he knows all the plays. he knows as much as Dylan knows. So I have a feeling that we have a very good opportunity with this game because UCLA's defense, and I know you guys probably have already heard all about this, but UCLA's defense is not as good as other defenses that we've faced. In fact, they're the fourth worst defense in the Big Ten. And a lot of people have said this, but you know, Roger, he says TJ to pitch to Heinrich Harburg on the option for the first touchdown. If they did that, right? Well, no, that might actually work. But anytime they put Heinrich in there, I just have a feeling that defense knows that they're going to him. No, Greg is not back. Um, Caden, thank you, but I'm looking for Husker fans to join in. I appreciate you wanting to join in though, because I don't want any Ohio State talk here. Okay, so let's see here. I don't know if I can read my handwriting. So Dylan had surgery yesterday and it went well. Thank God. Thank God. He went to New York and I don't know why he had to go to New York. Somebody asked him, one of the reporters today asked him, why would you have to go to New York for this type of surgery? And Matt Rule said it was a friend of the family. Somebody knew somebody, and so they worked with the doctors here. And that makes sense. Of course, regarding your leg or anything, you want to have the best of the best. So I imagine that's what it was. As well as, Gunner had surgery and they said that went well. And he's in Lincoln right now. Dylan's trying to get back to Lincoln so he can at least say goodbye to the team. And they're trying right now with the government shutdown. I guess this is affecting their flight in some way, even though I think they fly Gridiron Air, which isn't that a private airline? So I don't know why, maybe because of air traffic control or something that they're having a hard time with their flight. Oh, okay, Tedrick knows. He says, yes, they are cutting allowed amounts of total flights. Okay, then that makes sense. But Matt Rule made it very clear that no matter what, they'll get there. If they have to leave tomorrow morning, if they have to even wait until Saturday morning to arrive, that they will get there. Yeah, Dylan is getting magic legs. Maybe. Wouldn't that be something? Like, you know, what was that? Bionic legs. Hi, John. Good to see you here. Here, I'm going to put this in the chat again. I'm waiting on my co-host to fix his mic if anyone wants to join me. Okay, Elijah Pritchett has been practicing all week, so this is good. That means we're going to have Turner Corcoran at right tackle, Rocco Spindler at right guard, Justin Evans, center, Henry Latovsky as left guard, and then Elijah Pritchett will be left tackle. So this is a strong line. It's been working. It worked at the beginning of last game. So I feel good about this offensive line protecting our freshman quarterback. And the thing about TJ Lateef, which we know, is that he runs. And again, we're facing UCLA with a defense that is not very good, especially against the run. Tiger Shark Diver says, Minnie, you should just sign up for left tackle. I'm gonna. if we don't get this figured out this year, I promise. I'm gonna bulk up. I'm gonna start taking protein shakes, drinking creatine shakes, whatever I need to do. Is that how you guys testosterone shots? Or is that illegal? Could I start lifting? Although it has to go into my butt, right? Because that's what Todd says, that you need a badonk if you're going to be a good offensive lineman. I guess I gotta start doing squats. Hi, Marianne. It's so good to see you. I haven't seen you all season. Okay, so Eric Crouch was at practice today, and he was coaching, kind of being the quarterback whisperer, telling TJ Lateef that he just needs to let it rip. I love that. Because as a freshman quarterback, I imagine the nerves, an 18-year-old. Imagine being 18 years old and coming in, filling the shoes of a sophomore, somebody like Dylan Raiola, sophomore, experienced quarterback, this late in the season. The nerves would take over, I imagine. And so I'm very, very happy that everyone is saying to TJ, he says, every day somebody is always telling me that they got my back. And we are joined by my favorite co-host, the one who doesn't have mic problems.
Hopefully. I don't know. Can you hear me?
We can hear you great. Hi, Fred.
Good.
Thank you for
Hello.
showing up.
Definitely. Till Greg gets his shit together, I'll hang out for a minute.
Yeah, he's been having issues. I'm so glad you're here, though.
Yeah, me too.
Well,
We're just talking about, what are we talking about?
we're talking about UCLA.
Oh, okay.
And the prep work that's been going into it, getting TJ Lateef ready.
Yeah, I liked what Rule said. He said we're not really going to reinvent anything or do anything crazy, just get him out there and get him playing. And he said everybody needs to build him up. So
Yes. We have a party. Check this
Wow.
out. Guys, you guys are my favorite people of all time. Can I just tell you that? I love you guys.
How are we doing?
Good. Mr. Matney, great to see you.
It's good seeing you guys.
Yay! It's a party, you guys. So David Matney is with us and Fred. Wow, this is so maybe Greg, we don't need Greg.
Oh,
Oh, we
man.
need Greg.
I'm just saying. I don't know. I have no idea. So, okay. Were you at the game on Saturday?
I was not.
Okay.
My son was. He was there, but I was not. So, but he enjoyed it. So
It was
Did
a
he wear
good
black?
game.
Did he wear black?
Yeah. Oh yeah, but look at this. I even came to I was working tonight, and I even have the official. I'm repping the official gear. Believe it or
Oh,
not.
man.
How coincidence of that is that?
I
So-
should have thrown on my Mastodon shirt. Damn it.
That is so awesome.
Now,
Yeah.
I had a question earlier. Now, wouldn't you think that with the state of our offensive line the way it has been, don't you think that and I know reps are precious, but don't you think they should have this should have been anticipated, him getting hurt by the number of sacks that we have had? Anybody else feel that way? I mean, I know reps are precious, but I kind of wish that they had anticipated, okay, hey,
Yeah.
we had 9 sacks in a game. Let's plan for him getting hurt, and what happens if we throw Lateef in cold on something.
And a lot of talk was about that, and I thought the same. But then, like, looking back, this just seems like it's normal. Like I can even think back to Frank sometimes when I mean, we didn't have great quarterback depth under Frank, but still, we would have the starter would go out and the next guy would come in and it looked like it was his first day,
Right,
or
yeah.
whatever, or he's getting things wrong at the line and he's not getting the snap out of the gun or whatever. And it's like, I used to see that back then. Because I was the same. I was like, this sucks. It's like, obviously, they give all the reps to Dylan. They don't give all the reps, but he gets most of the reps with the ones.
Right,
So
which makes sense.
That chemistry. But yeah, part of like what you say, though, I mean, you almost feel like they would have had to have a contingency plan because the line's been so shaky and whatnot. But yeah, it's I'm not horrified by TJ being in there. I think it'll be okay if they play to his strengths and they protect him and they
Right.
protect him by running the ball and we actually run it successfully. I think, I hate to say it, but I think this should be a definite win. Yeah, it just should be.
At least, I mean, I think being mobile will help because then, hey, when things collapse, then at least he should be able to scramble, make something out of it. But
Yep.
Okay, Marianne Roberts says, yes, both should have practiced with the first stringers, in my opinion. How do we know that they didn't? It's just Dylan got more practice.
right.
I think that, like I said, being there in the game, there's just a lot of confusion. And, how do we know that TJ heard the play, was able to convey the play correctly? I mean, they're all used to Dylan, and Dylan's had problems hearing the play in the
Well,
past.
it's just kind of like Fred and myself right tonight. We're thrown in with no reps.
Yeah.
So it's probably not going to be as good a show. So
we have better
Yes,
coaching than the Huskers. I think you're an internet sensation, and I'm just kind of a third wheel. So
I tell you what, I'm like, but going live, that is hard to do. If people don't understand that it is, it gets better the more you do it. But boy, I tell you what, the first time you do it, it's like, holy smokes, this is really odd. It's fun being in the chat because you can just,
watch.
Fire away.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's as Greg put it to me once, it's a stream of consciousness. And your stream of consciousness can't stop. Like you just have to like constantly just whatever you're thinking, say it. And I'm like, I don't feel comfortable doing that. I usually measure what I say. Try to,
You do?
even though it doesn't always work around you guys.
Did I miss that episode?
Stop it.
But I've had mic troubles too. So I mean, I'm not without sin on far as that goes. Because sometimes it's like, you come in, so much things going on with technology and things. Sometimes it just doesn't work for you. So I completely understand. So, hey, there he is.
Look, it's Greg Mile in his red hat.
Now, how does it sound? Does it still sound?
I think it sounds great.
You're back.
Sound good.
Yeah.
Greg is back.
Does that work for me when I do that? Do it? No.
I don't have a Mac. I get a regular sun. I don't get fireworks.
I just have a potato that
it stopped working. There's too many people here. No.
Look at that. Yeah. We're all fancy.
You guys
are we going to have a 5-heart theater tonight?
I'll step away.
We should with the 4 of us here. Impromptu 5-heart theater.
The quad pod. Yeah, there you go. The quad pod.
Thanks, Dana. Dana says I'm reappearing like a bad rash. Appreciate that.
See, that makes me want to get back in the chat and be a pain. So, all right, guys.
Here, Fred.
I'll let you guys have the show back. We'll go back. I'll go back to being laughing at Fred when he does the.
Hey, I thank you guys.
You guys are the best.
Thanks again, guys. Bye-bye.
I adore you both. And I'm never going to forgive you ever, ever, ever. Why do you keep doing that to me? How many times have I done that to you? Like one time.
Do what?
And, Greg, this is my 100th episode. I bet you didn't even know that.
It still doesn't seem like it's 100.
Why would you doubt me? You think I would just randomly pick, okay, November 6th, 2025, that's going to be my 100th episode, whether it's true or not?
it just felt like mid-December is when you joined us.
I did, but you have to keep in mind, we've done sometimes we've done more than one episode a week.
Yeah.
Yes, we have. We've done watch-alongs.
Oh, no, well,
I count those.
we did. Okay, I'm just used to calling it like the 5 Heart Podcast being the Thursday night show. So,
Well,
I apologize.
technically, I'm not. Oh my gosh. Are you really going to take this honor away from me out of a
No.
technicality like that?
No, I just, again,
Sometimes we've done the show on a Wednesday.
yeah,
Sometimes we've done it on a Friday when we try to
Thursday.
watch Young Guns.
I don't know if I count that.
Are you? I showed up. If I show up and we have the 5 Heart Theater intro running and background, I count that.
Okay.
Why wouldn't you?
I think of it as, am I saving an audio file and uploading the podcast? That's a show. All the others just extra. So I apologize.
Well,
Happy 100th
no,
episode.
no. Now I feel like I can't even celebrate. Why don't you tell me when I should celebrate?
Okay. So, how about those Huskers, huh? Dylan had his surgery.
Mm-hmm.
I know you covered a lot of this. So,
yes. Yeah.
sure.
What Don Dre said.
Yep. Sorry, Don. And Mary Ann tells me not to be mean. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It can be 100th episode. I apologize.
It can be.
Sure. It is. I don't have any celebratory, no balloons or confetti. I don't have anything to celebrate you like you deserve. So I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's more like it. Okay. We can move on. Okay. Greg.
Yes.
How did you feel watching the game, USC? Now we can talk about what your thoughts are.
I felt good at halftime, and I felt less good after halftime.
Felt great at halftime, huh?
Yeah. I would have liked.
We were up.
There was the missed opportunity, and now we're getting into the third quarter. But that whole drive where we use 2 timeouts, they don't. It's 4th and 1. They put Heinrich in there, and we've talked about this before. Don't just run the offense. Give it to Emmett Johnson. Let him do his thing because he was pretty unstoppable on Saturday. And until, momentum started to change. When momentum started to shift and the Trojans were getting a push and we couldn't run block as well, but I think in that scenario, I trust Emmett Johnson to get us 1 yard that we need. And then we end up attempting the field goal, and Cunanan hits it off the upright, and then we come away with no points. And that was the moment that everything changed, and you kind of have to, even though they tie it up with the 2-point conversion, we end up going up with a field goal later. You just kind of had a feeling that when we settled for a field goal attempt and missed, that it was, oh, here we go again. And that's exactly what happened. Couldn't get out of our own way.
Kyle Cunanan has been very, very consistent. This is what drives me crazy. The kid has only missed 2 before the USC game.
Okay.
He's I follow him very, very, a lot. I pay very close attention to what Kyle is doing because he's just from right over this mountain where I live. He's like, I don't know, from my neck of the woods. from my stomping grounds.
There we go.
I've probably shopped at the same grocery store as his parents, that kind of thing. So I care very much how this kid is doing. Not only that, we haven't had a very consistent kicker, but he has been consistent. He's missed 2 that were just not they were just off, right? But this one that he missed was like, "What? He has the leg for it. Why did it not go?"
Because he bounced it off the upright.
No, it didn't make it.
So that's what I thought initially. And then they told me on Sunday night that it went off the upright
No.
and deflected.
No. No, he didn't make it.
Yeah. Either way, looks like I was wrong twice.
52 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Then the injury, Dylan getting hurt, of course, was salt on the wound. That was. I tend to believe that if a tackle technique is going to be a penalty or illegal, whatever, at the highest level of the game, it should be illegal in other levels. So that drop hip tackle that got Dylan, Dylan's a 20-year-old kid, still growing in some regard. So I don't know. I don't know how you. Nothing you can do about that. It was just it was a bad play. It was a bad situation. And I know I've seen the comments, and I was watching along the show while I was waiting for everything to restart. I'm a big believer in TJ Lateef, and I even said that on the last drive. I said, you know what, they went up, but I believe in the Huskers, and I believe in TJ Lateef. And it was Tedrick who says we still had a chance in the final 2 minutes. And he says my heart broke for Emmett when he tripped on the last carry. That was very un-Emmett like for sure. And bad things happen to good people. I'm sure he has been carrying that all week long, but he's got to be like a goldfish and forget that and move forward. But I believe in TJ Lateef. I think I've been saying this for weeks. It would have been a good idea at times just to throw him in on some packages, some opportunities to give the defense another look. Now it's his show, and it's his show for the rest of the year. So I'm very excited. I think he's a very talented, capable quarterback, and let's see what he can do essentially back home in Southern California.
Yes. Okay, there's a couple of things you said that I disagree with.
Cool.
The first being, the drop hip penalty, right?
No, it wasn't a penalty. It should be.
That you thought was a penalty.
The way they tackled Dylan was bringing all their weight down on him, and it's illegal in the NFL. I think if it's illegal in the NFL, it should also be illegal in other in levels of the game.
Well, what actually happened was he was tackled from the top, and the 2 guys that were in front of him forced him back, and he got sandwiched under. So it wasn't exactly. I've heard this explanation several times this year or this week that it's not exactly a hip drop tackle. It was an unfortunate event where 2 players were coming at him and forced him back.
Okay, well, I stand corrected. Everything else that I saw indicated that it was, that type of tackle that's illegal, and according to Tedrick, is a finable offense in the NFL. So, it looked like his leg did get caught underneath, which again,
that's what caused the injury.
240 pounds, pulling you down. Look, I get it. It's I don't want to minimize ballet by saying it's not ballet. Ballet's I can't do ballet. Ballet is a tough, but it's a combat. Football is a combat sport, and so injuries happen. It just sucks that they do, and that it happened to our starting quarterback. So
Yeah. No, I hated it. Trust me. And it's kind of like what David Matney said earlier is like, at some point this was probably going to happen. 27 times he's been sacked this year.
it's a lot.
That is a lot. So, we're lucky that this is all he's had to deal with up until this point. And I hope that, honestly though, our offensive line was doing good up until that point. He hadn't had any sacks. So I was really happy with the way that things were going. It seemed like they kind of found their groove, our offensive line.
And that's, astounding as well, because we didn't have, Teddy Prohaska. We lost Elijah Pritchett. I think Turner Corcoran's a better left tackle than right tackle. And I heard, earlier in the show that Pritchett's been practicing, so it sounds like Corcoran will probably be back at the right side. Tyler Kanak handled himself all right. We'll see. It's at this point, it's a patchwork offensive line again.
Well, and don't forget, Rocco Spindler just had surgery last week.
Right. Yeah. On his.
So this has been our offensive line is holding it together with all the, injury bugs that we've had. They're still holding it together. And I think that counts for something. These guys are definitely giving it their all, and I think they're making strides every week.
Duct tape and thumbtacks.
Yeah. We're getting duct tape together, but we're holding it together, guys.
It definitely wasn't as bad of a performance as we've seen in games past. But again, it's a lot of plug and play on the offensive line, and we can only hope that next year some of these guys have huge jumps in development. I saw a lot of comments earlier about if Donovan's going to be out as the offensive line coach, and probably.
I was thinking about this just earlier today, because if you remember correctly, it was this time last year that we were all celebrating. You all were all celebrating that Marcus Satterfield was not our offensive line or our offensive coordinator any longer. You wanted him fired. They made him just the tight ends coach. And I thank God they didn't fire him, because what the heck? We have an amazing tight end. He's even taught Heinrich Harburg how to be a tight end. So I'm really thrilled with our tight ends.
If only we could have kept Nate Borkacher, who's having a hell of a year at Texas A&M, but
he is
what it is.
But I just think that give our offense, everybody in the Big Ten is having injuries on their offensive line. So I think you just give him, another year, like I said, of just coaching up these guys and giving them that. I don't know how to be an offensive lineman, but I know there's a technique.
Well, I heard that I saw it earlier that you're going to be the sign up to be left tackle.
So when I do, I will learn the technique, and it'll probably take me maybe 2-3 years. So look for me on the field then.
All right.
2028.
Not too many true freshmen starting left tackles, so you guys have time to learn technique and bulk up. You got to put on that functional weight. So
yeah, exactly. Start taking testosterone now.
I saw a comment here earlier. I didn't snag it, and I'm not going to scroll up and find it again. But when TJ came in, I think they probably went too vanilla. But I also understand, because first time in what is essentially meaningful, reps, I'm excited for what they can potentially do with him with the full week of prep. And hopefully the offense the offense should look different because TJ is not Dylan. TJ has a different set of skills. He's definitely a more mobile quarterback. And so I think it's important that, and there's going to be tough words to hear for some people, Matt Rule has to let Dana be Dana.
And no, he does.
Has to put the restrictor plates off of him.
He doesn't do that. He doesn't.
Doesn't do what?
Put restrictor plates on Dana Holgorsen.
And why are we still running Marcus Satterfield's offense?
If you remember correctly.
Well, that's that.
Dana Holgorsen came in last year.
Yes.
And he had to take over the offense that was already in place.
Yes.
He had to learn the words and basically eliminate. What did he say? He eliminated a lot of the mumbo jumbo. He simplified it. He said that. So according to him, he's running his offense. He said that last year.
I don't remember him saying that. I don't see that.
Greg, I write down everything he said.
To what he has done elsewhere.
Honestly, I don't know about that, but I'm sure he would be happy to answer that question. All I'm saying is I know for a fact he said, he said it in a press conference, and we're all sitting there. Well, at least I'm sitting here in Phoenix, Arizona, scratching my head going, gosh, was it really that complicated of an offense? It must have been, if that's what he says. So he eliminated a ton of things from our offense. And he just said, basically, the plays are all the same, but you just have to learn what their terminology is.
Well, I understand that he kept a lot of the terminology, but it's just not what he was running. And you don't have to take my word for it. Your favorite co-host Fred says, I don't think Rule is letting Dana be Dana. It looks nothing like his offenses I've seen at Okie State, West Virginia, and Houston.
Okay. Dana wouldn't be here if he can't coach the way he wants to coach, period. He just wouldn't. And that's the reason why even Rule said today that when it's practice time, he spends the majority of his time watching defense, that he watches the offense tape after practice.
I know he's a great offensive mind, but I don't think you can objectively say that the system that he is employing here in Lincoln is similar to what it was at some of his other stops in his coaching career.
That may be. I honestly, and here's the thing. Nebraska's strong. He says, just be honest. Holgorsen's play calling against USC was garbage. Really? How many rushing yards did Emmett have? What was going on prior to Dylan getting injured? Can you just refresh my memory? Because if I remember correctly, we were doing very well on offense.
I also think it's fair to say, and I'm trying to pull the stats to prove it, Emmett Johnson's success can largely be attributed to Emmett Johnson. Like his numbers for yards after contact are incredible. So how much of that is individual effort versus scheme? And while Nebraska looked sharp as could be their first drive of the game, they force a 3-and-out. They march right down the field, chew up a lot of clock, doing a 75-yard drive, and put one in the end zone. That was also, in my opinion, the height of their success. I mean, that was the best they looked all game long.
When? Say that again?
The first drive of the game was the best that they looked.
Okay. All I'm trying to say is that the reason that Emmett Johnson has gotten as many carries as he's gotten is because of Dana Holgorsen's play calling. Okay?
Okay.
Is that fair? And Pitt wants to say you're taking up a position contrary to far, not just far, just far superior football minds. Just stop it. I will not stop it. I will die on this freaking hill. You guys are wrong.
I mean, you can die on a hill and be wrong.
Emmett Johnson is the leading rusher in the Big Ten. So you think Dana Holgorsen is a bad play caller?
I didn't
How
say
does that go together? How does that even match up?
If you can't attribute Emmett Johnson's success to Emmett Johnson.
It's not that I'm not. I'm just saying Dana Holgorsen is a good play. Do you remember? You want to say who's a bad play caller? And not that I'm trying to throw anyone under the bus.
Uh-oh.
But Satterfield had Emmett Johnson leaving because he wasn't playing. Holgorsen brought him back in because he saw something very special in Emmett Johnson.
I think it's important to note under 9 games not this season because Emmett started getting the shine about this time last year when Dana took over. So, I mean, I don't want to say he's had a full year with Dana at the helm, but let's just look at in a vacuum. Let's just look at Emmett Johnson's career stats. 1,002 yards this year. Last year, 598, and in 2023, 411 yards. His average yards per carry is up. Of course, his carries are up because he's the rightful number one, and he has 10 touchdowns this year compared to 3 combined in the last year. Those are just rushing, not talking about anything out of the backfield. I just think it is important to recognize that much of Emmett Johnson's success is his want to. It's his guts and glory and just continuing to will the football forward. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that Dana is shit. I don't believe that. I think that I don't think that Dana's running quote unquote his offense, and I think that his style is very different than what we have seen. I'm also excited because I think, and no, I'm not celebrating Dylan's injury. I don't celebrate injuries, but I think there may be less pressure because there's less emphasis on getting a 5-star quarterback drafted in the NFL. So I think that with TJ Lateef now as the starting quarterback, we may see different elements, and it could be a very different offense that takes the field. I mean, same players, yes, but different schemes. And
that's exactly what Holgorsen said this week. That's exactly what he said. Because as we all know, TJ Lateef has a different skill set than Dylan Raiola. So he's going to use that. So yeah, you're right. And he's good. I believe, listen, Dana Holgorsen is, in my mind, the absolute best offensive coordinator we could have gotten for this job.
100%.
And I believe that he is going to make the play calls for the players that we have. I think that he's going to do as much as he can to get points on the board and get the ball spread around. If somebody's hot, he'll get it to them. He's already talked about this.
And we have seen that, because I'm not going to pull up the season stats, but Dylan's done a good job of just look at the number of receivers who have catches this year, and not just receivers, but Johnson and Mosey and guys out of the backfield as well, tight ends, of course. So I think we're doing a tremendous job of spreading the ball, and like we've talked in the past, like Isaiah Hunter, we're doing a great job of finding the hot hand. So all of that it shouldn't change, but at the same time, I think that, again, TJ is going to bring something different. I'm not saying better than, I'm not saying worse than, just different than Dylan.
Different.
And it's going to, I think, force defenses moving forward to play a little more honest.
I love that. That's a good way to look at it, Greg. And what Nebraska Strong Go Big Red says is, Minnie, we only had 286 yards of total offense against USC. That's not great. I get that. But you also have to remember, we didn't score a touchdown in the second half. There was the major injury that we were just talking about. So can you just not concentrate on that game right now? If you're going to, use stats from the first half, because that's what is really relevant here. You can't, I've been saying this all year. You can't throw a freshman quarterback in just to a game where there's tons of pressure and where our offensive line has struggles.
And I also think on the flip side of, if we're just looking at USC, and I'm not advocating for just him, but if we're, again, just looking at that, if we talk about what our defense did, and that was hold a team that usually is upwards of 500 yards a game to, 360, a team that lights up, a quarterback that lights up opposing defenses for hundreds of yards, and we held Jaden Mayava to 135 yards. Nine completions, 9 for 23, no touchdowns, 1 interception, sacked 3 times, and really the big anomaly there was his longest went for 43 yards. If we want to talk about the USC game, let's shift away from any negative speak about the offense. Let's shine up the defense a little bit, because I think the defense had a great effort.
They did.
And it kind of Javin Wright's been leading the team in tackles, and he had 11. Rex Guthrie's really having a strong freshman year with 8 tackles. Deshaun Singleton had 6. Vincent Shavers Jr. had 6. I think we all thought after the first play of scrimmage where they ran the counter and they pulled the guard and Williams Nwaneri chased down the ball carrier for a loss, which I think was King Miller. We were all excited. We're like, this is what it's going to be.
Yep.
And, slowly but surely, King Miller did what King Miller does. And he wore us down for 130 yards on 18 carries. But, tremendous effort by the defense.
You're right.
Nobody expected the defense to have that kind of performance against that offense.
Right. Yeah, to hold USC to 27 points. Notre Dame couldn't do that. You guys, we've actually improved, and I wish you would look at that. I feel like we want to constantly look at the negative instead of looking at the positive. We lost the last game. I get that, but why can't we, instead of just sitting here kind of dissecting it as a whole, look at things from the lens in which they were played? Like, there's an obvious difference between the first half and the second half. And the difference is when Dylan got injured. So I think you need to look at it from that lens. What happened when Dylan was in the game and healthy? What happened when we had TJ Lateef put in just as a brand new freshman thrown into a very high pressure situation?
Question. The 4th and 1 and the missed field goal, that was still with Dylan as starter, correct?
4th and 1 and missed field goal. Let me look.
I feel like that happened before Dylan got hurt. I may be wrong. Just when we burned 2 timeouts.
No. It was after Dylan got injured. That was after Dylan got injured.
That was like the first drive of the second half. Oh, regardless, that call that's not even on Dana. That's on Rule.
Yeah. Well, I honestly think that Rule saw that things were getting out of hand on the field. You know, their
That's what concerns me, because
break out.
we saw the same thing against Minnesota when we were down by a point at halftime and we hit the panic button. So I hope that's temporary and not just a mental block of things are tight and, you know, we have to abandon the play sheet, because I still feel.
Do you know Javin Wright? Isn't he the one that has the green dot? Defense-wise? I think he is.
So?
I know he's a captain. He has a green dot for the defense. So that means that he's communicating with John Butler, and Matt Rule can hear all of that. So who knows what Matt Rule heard?
No,
But
I'm talking about our 4th and 1.
Our 4th and 1.
When we missed the field goal, when we lined up for it, then we had to burn a second timeout, and then we missed the field goal.
The second timeout? Okay, the second timeout.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were talking about the first one.
No, I apologize. That I still contend that, you know, I would have felt better even if we wouldn't have I would have felt better just lining up with our quarterback, whether it was Dylan or TJ, which sounds like it was TJ, and just running Emmett and getting the first down. And that's how you build confidence for a young quarterback, you know, because that was the game. Mm-hmm. When you look back, and yes, you know, they scored again and we scored again, and they, you know, but that to me was the moment where it all changed and momentum started shifting towards USC. But
that was not when Dylan got injured.
I thought that was before Dylan, but I don't want to. My recollection is hazy at best, so I don't want to ascribe blame to anybody except Matt Rule. Hate to say it.
Okay, that's fair.
Now here's an interesting question or statement. Melissa says if Lateef comes in and wins 4 games, then he should start next year. And Fred, apparently I wasn't supposed to highlight that one.
Do you want to take this, or should I?
I think it would at least be an interesting spring quarterback competition. Or he shows out, balls out, and then gets a transfer portal opportunity. Thoughts?
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know. You guys.
Again, that's not me being anti-Dylan. I think it's one of two things would happen if we go 4-0 from here out, right? Either I think we have a true quarterback competition in the spring, or TJ hits the transfer portal. And I'm not upset either way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
I couldn't blame him. I couldn't blame him for getting an NIL deal.
True. Yeah, but let me just go ahead and bring us all back to last year when TJ Lateef was invited to the Elite 11.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that? And everybody was freaking out because, you know, he's such a good quarterback. Why would he come to Nebraska and play under Dylan Raiola? Why? He said, he doubled down on it. He's like, there's no question. I'm all in on Nebraska.
Good.
There's players who just want to play for Nebraska. He will get his opportunity. Obviously, it came up sooner than we all thought, but I mean, you've seen the guy. He needs to put on weight. He needs to build muscle. He needs all of those things to be the best that he can be, to be an NFL caliber quarterback.
So if I'm hearing you don't think it's Portland. So then do you think we have a true quarterback competition in the spring?
Well,
Or do you think that when Dylan comes back from, the surgery and rehab that because I understand somebody made the comment, it's like, you don't lose your spot because of an injury.
right.
But and look, is this a lofty if? Sure. But if we went out with TJ Lateef, wouldn't you have to give him like an honest, fair shot at a quarterback competition in the spring? Or are we
Yeah. I
talking,
just honestly,
about
I think that you're just really overlooking what you have in a quarterback in Dylan Raiola. I just think that everybody is. I honestly think that when you hear 5-star quarterback, your expectation level is way up here, even if you don't have all the pieces around him, and you blame him for everything, the things that are outside of his realm of control.
have I blamed Dylan for everything?
Have you? Probably. I think it wasn't that long ago when you were saying, start Heinrich, start Heinrich.
That was for entertainment purposes.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm glad we cleared that up now.
I thought that was pretty clear. Anyway, look, if you're watching this in the chat, did you think I was being serious, or did you know that it was just antagonizing? Because I always thought that I was antagonizing.
Okay. Good. Nobody is blaming Dylan. I think everybody's blamed Dylan. I've heard it all. Dylan needs to get his feet set. Dylan needs to learn how to throw darts. I've heard it all.
Get rid of
You guys have heard it all too. So let's be honest with ourselves. I will have a drink. Thank you. Actually, I'm going to leave you for just one little second and go get some of my Walgreens clearance wine.
That's fair. I left you.
No negative talking while I'm gone.
Okay.
Only positive, you guys.
Okay.
Really? Really?
Me? Yeah.
Okay.
Fred says, I don't blame Dylan for everything. He's only a sophomore. Overall, there is a systemic discombobulation. I don't even know how you typed that one out on your phone, Fred. With the offense mostly fostered by a bad offensive line.
Okay.
And, if Melissa says not blaming anyone, but if Lateef balls out, he deserves it. I would say, but if he struggles with the same things that Dylan struggles, and, if the offensive line's not going to protect any better for him than they were for Dylan, I mean, the only advantage that TJ has is that he's more mobile and he can get out a little quicker. And, but
think of all the problems that we've had with a dual threat quarterback. It's going to be a good thing for us. I expect TJ Lateef to do well in these next 3 games. He should do well. I mean, teams aren't expecting that. They've been preparing for Dylan.
Mhm.
So they're going to have to revamp their defensive plans, their schemes, and it's going to be a good thing for us.
Fred says, shame we don't have a dual threat quarterback with Dylan.
See? There you go. That's what I mean. It is.
Marianne says, I think there's a lot of pieces around Dylan, but Dylan hasn't showed what he really can do. Now, is that the coaches, or is it Dylan being scared? It could be both, honestly. I don't know if scared.
I think it's... Go ahead.
I think I'll say this. He's not sliding 2 yards short of the marker nearly as much this year. So we'll take improvement everywhere we can get it.
It's very nice of you, Greg. Very, very nice of you.
I can turn it around too.
If you will put that question back up, please.
Yep.
And then, so my answer is, I don't think it's either. I think Dylan is a different type of quarterback, one that is more suited for the pros, in that he's not a dual threat. You don't see that in NFL quarterbacks. They don't want him to run. They do everything to protect their quarterback, the offensive line. So it's just the way that college football is.
Dondre, you'll appreciate this. Dylan is one of the best passers in college, but has to be more mobile or a far better offensive line.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say the NFL game has evolved a little bit. We do see more, I don't want to say dual threat, but more mobile quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson for one. They're out there.
Yeah. Okay.
That one too.
The other one, that one. You know the one
Eagles quarterback can run. I just can't think of his name.
There was that one time.
That one time. So anyway, like Husker Bob says, NFL quarterbacks are getting more mobile. But here's the thing: if you're Dylan and you know that whether you'll admit it publicly or not, because obviously not, I'll say this: he's a consummate professional and team player. He will always, if the only person he's throwing under the bus is himself. But I'm sure in the back of his mind, in his darkest moments, he's like, I wish my offensive line was just a little bit better. And, so I don't know. I forgot where I was going with that. And Minnie left, going to get her clearance wine. So, no, I don't think this will happen, James. I think he's in it for the long haul. I don't know if she has her AirPods in, if she can hear this. James says Dylan should transfer to a team that can protect him and prepare him for the NFL. At this point, the only teams that I trust, to do that are like Ohio State and Indiana, and I don't want him in either of those schools. Every team has their faults, I would say, again, besides those two. Certainly we all wish him a speedy recovery and a proper recovery. We don't want to rush it, Let's be thankful that he's here. I'm not trying to usher him out the door at all. I'm just excited for TJ's opportunity to see what he can do. So let's find out together. There was something else I was going to talk about. Missing the first half hour of the show means that behind the eight ball. Nebraska had a bunch of recruits in Lincoln for the USC game, the Blackout, which we didn't talk about. I know we talked about it on Sunday night, and I'm sure that Fred and Minnie addressed it and discussed it on Monday. But if you watch that game on TV, that Blackout looked amazing. And I do hope that they bring that back on a yearly basis, because that was peak environment, And we talked about this last week. Is I hadn't heard that they were going to paint the block end in the middle in the end zones, but that looked, the whole thing was peak fan experience. But it was also a tremendous environment for these recruits, and Nebraska is already starting to see some of the fruits of those efforts. They received a commitment earlier this week from a 4-star wide receiver.
Yes.
There is a high likelihood that a young man who honestly looks like a bowling ball on legs, a 4-star running back, seems very high on Nebraska as well. So, it's an exciting time. And these are 2027 recruits, by the way, which Nebraska has the 12th ranked 2027 recruiting class so far. So top in the Big Ten, and for whatever reason, they're another example, I think, of Matt Rule and company planning for the future. Not necessarily the immediate. I'm pleased with the turnaround that they've had, and the continued improvement. Let's get one or two more, maybe all three of these regular season games, so we can at least see the improvement year over year. and let's continue to build for the future, because at his core, that's what Matt Rule is. He's not a flip the roster and go from worst to first, because I think that those are temporary by and large. Oftentimes those are temporary victories. He is building something, building a foundation, and to that, I think, I wasn't upset with his extension that we talked about last week. Quite the opposite. I was very pleased. I just want to continue to see improvement and progress being made, so that, when a 5-star quarterback gets drafted, the whole thing doesn't all fall apart.
There you go. And Beetlebee says, if we can't win a big game, recruiting maybe doesn't matter. Recruiting matters because that's what we're building towards. Just like what you just said, Greg, right?
Yeah. When you look at the number of high-star kids who were in town this past week, I know Trey Taylor got there after his Illinois IHSA playoff game. That was Saturday afternoon. He flew in. You have to recruit different ways. If you're where Nebraska had been, you get to say, hey, why don't you help us get back to where Nebraska ought to be?
That's
and right
exactly
now
right.
they're still on that upward trajectory. So you can say, hey, this is where we were. This is where we are, buddy. This is where we are going. Why don't you come along for the ride? And, I would be very excited. It's easy. Here's great. And I know, Minnie, you've seen the show. So I don't, but season 3 of Ted Lasso, when Rebecca is going to Zava and she says, you chicken shit, of course you're going to be on the best team, because then it's very easy for you and you can just be another, legend among legends, rather than seeing how good you really are by, joining AFC Richmond and helping elevate the team. That is a similar, maybe not the same words, but a similar approach that I would take. Look, you are a great athlete, and we want that because we want to see how good you can be, because we're not championship caliber yet. We have the possibility of being at that level. Come along. Otherwise, you're going to get lost in the shuffle at Alabama or Georgia or Ohio State. You'll end up transferring out anyway because you're unhappy about playing time.
Yeah. Pit Snipe says, really, it all comes down to, does your position coach put players in the NFL? If not, you're recruiting the second and third tiers. How will our line be drafted this year? Okay.
Rocco
Good
Spindler will
point.
get
No.
drafted.
Let me answer.
Okay.
Let me answer. Good point, Pitt. But like we have been saying, at least I've been saying, you've got to allow the position coaches to develop the players, to bring them to Nebraska and then develop them. That's key. So we can't just say, okay, that's a crap position coach, because they've had players that have been left over on the roster that they weren't necessarily recruiting.
Well, if we're talking offensive line, Donovan's in his 4th year.
No, technically 3rd, because Scott Frost did not leave him any offensive linemen, and everyone left after Scott Frost. Just about. The only 2 people that didn't were Teddy and Turner.
Bryce Benhart was here.
And Bryce Benhart. That's right. And that's it. That is it. And Bryce Benhart actually ended up improving under Donovan.
At times. We saw initial improvement, and then he regressed back to the mean. So.
Okay. All right. Well, Turner Corcoran, as even a far superior football mind than mine, stated on Monday night, Aaron Rostovsky, he said Turner Corcoran has learned every position and learned it well on the offensive line. And you can thank Donovan Raiola for that.
Sure. I can also thank the need because we've had so many injuries up and down Turner's time here in Nebraska that, you know, like there's also been
Yeah, you just want to think about the negative. What is so bad about saying, yeah, Donovan Raiola actually coached him and taught him all of the positions. And granted, this kid has been plagued by injury, and this is probably his last year, but he has done everything he can for Nebraska. What is wrong with that?
no, I got nothing against Turner,
Okay.
but if that mindset of teaching him every position along the offensive line, then it becomes a jack of all trades, master of none.
Well, we've needed somebody to fill in every single position, just about.
Right. So, I mean, what about, like, every week I feel like we hear about, where's Grant Bricks? Why is he on a milk carton?
He's actually on the travel roster this
Okay.
year, or this week.
He
So
needs to be.
He's the third on the
Depth chart.
Thank you.
Brock Knutson's another, the Scottsbluff boy. Like, these are guys who've been in the system now a couple of years. And now, granted, I understand the cliche is when it comes to the offensive line, you want to get old and stay old. And that they've had to, bring in transfer portal guys. But at some point, you got to take the number one offensive lineman in the state of Iowa and do something with it.
Yep.
And
I think we are going to see something. You
Okay.
just don't want to get these guys in positions where they're going to get hurt. Do you realize every single guy on our offensive line is over 300 pounds? Do you think a Grant Bricks coming in is over 300 pounds in the right weight? No.
well,
This is why.
he's a redshirt sophomore now, right?
It takes a while to get that developed, the muscle developed, and everything that you need for an offensive lineman. I mean, we want to talk about our defensive line not being big enough. Imagine if we had guys that were under 300 pounds on our offensive line.
Sure.
It would be even worse.
Well, let's. I don't even think we're disagreeing. Let's just. What? So I started talking about recruits, and I actually have a graphic because this is something from Tim Verghese. If I can find it. Anyway, a couple of defensive linemen. Now, this is the reason that I'm pointing this out is because these were, I guess they were players who were there on Saturday, and we have Nebraska is on the rise. Tim Verghese says 2-4. No, maybe not. Anyway, 2027 Inglewood, California 4-star defensive lineman Miles Smith, the number 2 defensive lineman in Rivals 300, and Inglewood 4-star defensive lineman Elijah Harmon. After visiting together Saturday, they said, quote, Nebraska is definitely one that's let us know they want us both. So you talk about a couple of teammates, 4-star defensive linemen, and
I bet they'll be there this weekend too.
Yeah, I mean,
They're from Inglewood, California. That's
Inglewood.
right
Is that on
down
the south side of LA, or is it?
Yeah, I bet you anything they'll be there.
You think which sideline you think they'll be on, or do you think they'll just be in the stands?
Yeah, you think with everything else that Tim Skipper has going on that he's concerned about recruiting. I'll have to look into that, but I bet you anything he's not.
So it, again, just I don't want to say, like warm bodies, but what look like a couple of capable defensive linemen in a position where Nebraska can always use depth. So
yeah, we need that.
It looks like they're dressed for cold weather. Minnie, were you cold at the game?
Actually, I was doing well at the game, but that's because I wore everything I had, everything I had brought. Yes.
Oh, good. I'm glad you had a good time. I wish Nebraska would have won for you.
Yeah, for all of us, for all of our sakes. Then we wouldn't be
Right.
here. Like, yeah.
So you're going to the UCLA game.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
I'm getting to go, which I'm thrilled about because, I was asked if I was going maybe about a month ago, and I was like, this was before when Deshaun Foster was still coach. And I was like, I don't think I want to go to that game because boy, does UCLA suck.
Mhm.
And UCLA turned it around and they're doing quite well with their interim coach and their new offensive coordinator. So when that started happening, I was like, oh, that could be a game. And especially now with TJ Lateef starting as quarterback and all the positives that I saw last week, I want desperately to be there in person cheering on the Huskers. I just have a very good feeling about this.
I hope it's a great time for it. I hope that your trip to the Rose Bowl is better than my trip to the Rose Bowl.
What was
So
your
I
trip
went and
to the
saw
Rose Bowl?
Nebraska played UCLA, obviously non-conference in 2012, and 'twas not a successful outing for our beloved Scarlet and Cream.
Aw.
The smarter people with the better memories will be able to pinpoint exactly what happened. It was very kind of oddly similar to, if I remember correctly, Nebraska UCLA, or I'm sorry, Nebraska
I
USA.
think we scored 37, and we were ranked that game on us.
No, probably. Yeah,
Yeah.
because that was in September, so we probably started the season ranked, had a cupcake first game of the season, probably against an FCS team, and yeah, went in and they beautiful environment to see the mountain range behind the stadium, but not a good ending to that one. So it was so bad that Fred blanked it out of memory.
Yeah, Husker Chuck, I have a feeling that this game is actually going to be a lot fuller than we originally anticipated. I think there's a lot of Husker fans that are showing up for this game.
I'd have to do way too much scrolling to go all the way back to find it. So we'll just move on. No pictures of me at the Rose Bowl. Sorry, everybody. No Five Heart Theater tonight.
I feel like we've already given it to them. There's been a lot going on in this show tonight.
Marianne asks, correct me if I'm wrong, but it is the reason our both lines aren't big. It's because they're not homegrown Nebraska hardworking blue class people. And I would say no, respectfully. And this is just as like, my brother-in-law's a farmer, so my nephew's a farmer, and machine like the tractors even drive themselves. It's all computerized. Like there's no
less farms. There's less farms. Yeah.
So, yeah, I would say 30 years ago, maybe that was definitely an element that assisted some of our walk-on program or offensive line, defensive line. Now, I mean, one of the things that was Nash Hutmacher's, reason for success is that he's a, wrestler. So, pass protection is all about, pushing people off the block and just think more sumo wrestling than country strong anymore.
So. I want everyone to take a moment and just think of where our best players have been from in the last, I don't know, let's say 3 years, 4 years. It has been places that other teams just aren't recruiting. I mean, it's been very difficult for us to get players out of the South if there's not a true connection there. Mickey Josephs was great for the program for that reason alone. He brought some great players with him because of his connections down south, because that's a hotbed. But other than that, it's been really difficult for us to recruit good players in those hot areas. And we've gotten players like what you're talking about from South Dakota, Arizona, I mean, places, Montana. It's just been difficult. So now that Matt Rule is doing all that he can on the recruiting side, I think we're going to be opening it up. I mean, we already got TJ Lateef from California. We got Isaiah Hunter, a transfer from Cal. I mean, he's fantastic. I'm thrilled with him. So it's just going to improve going forward.
I think because of his ties, I mean, Pennsylvania is a hotbed of high school football. You know, and of course, Rule played at Penn State, coached at Temple, coached at Baylor. So you think Texas? I mean, I think we were all very excited about his Texas connections when he was announced as a head coach. And I don't know if that's necessarily materialized yet, but I also like that he's not localizing, you know, like tunnel vision. You know, he's fine going coast to coast, border to border, if I could say that. You know, like I said, Idaho and Montana, but also Arizona. You know, I don't mind this coaching staff's approach to recruiting. But it sucks that some of
I'm just saying that it's a lot easier if you are a program that has great players within a 500-mile radius to get those players to come to you. Okay. Nebraska doesn't have as many, period. We just don't. And so we've had to be creative and go to smaller areas where, you know, teams will likely overlook good players. And now, you know, we are getting more of that nationwide spotlight. And so it's going to only help us.
Somebody help me out in the comments. Is it Millard West that has a bunch of kids from out of the area playing football there in Omaha? I'm trying to think. There's, I mean, they have a plethora of D1 players, but you know, their biggest, I don't know, allegation, accusation, whatever, nothing illegal or criminal, but that, you know, they're kind of like an IMG academy, like they're finding top talent from around the country and luring them to Omaha. But I can't remember if it was Millard West or which one. So if there's somebody in the comment, but I mean, there's for whatever reason they're coming to Omaha to play football, but they're not sticking around to go to Lincoln. So, but we'll see.
So I don't know. I have no idea.
I just know that that's been in the news lately. You know, other fans of like Nebraska smaller towns or whatnot are saying that's not fair. Same thing that parochial schools deal with every year is, you know, allegations of recruiting. There we go. Fred says Millard West was doing that with athletes. Right now, Millard South is good at a lot of sports too. So,
okay.
And Husker Chuck is correct. We need more big uglies on both sides of the ball. Here on the Five Heart Podcast, there's only one big ugly. So y'all are stuck with me. And if you're going to the game on Saturday, and I know you are, Minnie, you're not going to be alone because Brasco Rascal says there's going to be 20 to 25,000 Husker fans in attendance, as Husker fans always travel well to the West Coast. Of course, even it's November. Would you rather, no offense, you know, I love Lincoln, but would you rather be in Lincoln or Pasadena for a weekend? So
very nice.
Good opportunity to get a little bit of sunshine. And I would not be surprised if there are more Husker fans than UCLA fans in the Rose Bowl come Saturday. 8 o'clock Central kickoff. My goodness. Pop's going to need a nap Means I'm gonna have
6
to put
p.m. 6 p.m. on the
No.
West Coast.
West Coast, but for God's favorite time zone, it's 8 p.m.
I get that, Greg, but the sun won't even be set when it's kickoff. That is going to be cool. It's going to be dusk in the Rose Bowl. How cool is that? I'm like getting goosebumps. I'm so excited.
So I will have to try to convince my boys to take a nap so that I can take a nap so that I can be ready for the game on Saturday night.
Okay.
Now would be a great time, everybody, if you have a prediction for Saturday night, to let those predictions be known. And I've got to pull up my Google Doc.
Greg,
Yes.
do you want to go over everybody's prediction?
Don't we do
Because, you
that?
know, I can just look at them on the chat.
I mean, don't we do that every week? Isn't that part
We
of the
do, but does it have to be that way?
I mean, I suppose not. We can.
Sorry.
We can.
Sorry, I know it's something different, which is very difficult.
All right, everybody. You got to really make sure that you put
Get your predictions in.
get them in, type them in. They're not going to be read this week and ever again. Farewell traditions.
It's my 100th episode.
That's true. That's right, Pitt. We fear change.
Well, I look at it this way. Has it been working for us this far?
I mean, we're 6-3. So
All right.
we're 2/3 of the time. And make sure, because he's not here, so make sure you at least write down Josh at 35-17. Because that never changes.
I will. I promise.
All right. Let's take a quick look at the other predictions that we have. So from Sunday night, Haas said 20-16 Nebraska,
Okay.
and Jake said 27-20 Nebraska.
Okay.
Minnie, what is your prediction for Saturday night's game?
I think we score in the 30s. I think we come out swinging. Let's go 34 Nebraska. I do believe we're going to win this one. I believe it. Like I feel it. UCLA 21.
Good score.
And this is a good question. Husker Chuck, do we score in the third quarter? Please, Lord, help us to score in the third quarter. Greg, what's your prediction?
That is a great question. I tend to kind of be in between, right? So I'm going to say 31-24 Nebraska.
That's so close to mine.
I know.
Are you copying me a little bit?
No,
Little
I'm
bit.
hedging my bet. I'm between you and Jake.
Well, Jake is usually onto something, so I think that's a good bet.
You know, he for the Houston Christian game, he had originally correctly guessed 59-7.
I know.
That week to 70-0. So
yeah. I do know
Marianne
that.
says she doesn't have a prediction. She just hopes we win, even if it's by 1 point. Oh, come on, Marianne. Throw some numbers out there. It's okay.
Marianne, it's okay. I don't like to do a prediction either, but we all have to participate, okay?
TSD says TJ will have 2 rushing touchdowns and 2 passing. Well, that'd be a hell of a homecoming for that young man.
Wouldn't it?
It would.
You know, just the idea of that gives me goosebumps. I start getting excited just about the thought of that. All the way, I'm driving 5.5 hours from Phoenix to the Rose Bowl, and
Well, you're not.
well, my car is for me. Yes. but I am anticipating what I'm going to be listening to. So I'm downloading all the football stuff I want to listen to on the way there to get me hyped up for this game. No music, though, on the way there. On the way back, yes, perhaps, but on the way there, just football, football, football hype.
Melissa predicts 2 interceptions. I'm hoping that's 2 interceptions by our defense. Melissa's always so upbeat and positive. I don't think she's wishing 2 interceptions on TJ. So. And TSD says it's 5 hours from Phoenix to Pasadena.
5.5, yeah.
Apparently. So, all right. Well, Minnie, thank you for holding down the fort while I worked on my technical difficulties. And thanks to Fred and living in Omaha, David Matney, the official realtor of the 5 Heart Podcast, for stepping in here and being tremendous teammates. And sorry for the microphone. I'm glad the microphone issue got resolved. It just took apparently restarting the whole damn computer. So thank you to.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Do you think that perhaps it was like karma because you wouldn't give me my 100th episode?
Yes, we'll go with that.
So maybe in order for us to win, you should give in to the 100th episode and say all the nice things that I know you're holding back right now to me. In a card, like what you would write in a card.
I say a lot of nice things to you all the time.
No.
Show. I think at one point I called you the cornerstone or said the show wouldn't be made possible without you. Not like you're a PBS donor, but because of all that you do.
Pitt, he gets me.
There we go. Fred says I should put it in the chat and you can read it later.
Okay.
Minnie, for 100 amazing episodes. There was no 5 Heart Podcast before you. And thank you for all that you do, all the tireless hours that you put in to make this show. Now, it sounds like I'm being overly dramatic, but I'm sincere when I say thank you for being a tremendous partner here on this show and a wonderful friend. Thank you for volunteering a couple of years ago to say, hey, if there's any way I can help out in the show, and not even knowing that you'd be invited on the show and then take over the show. So everything evolves, everything changes. The show wouldn't be made possible without you. And thank you for just keeping me around at this point, because it's really your show. And I'm just here because I'm the old guy in the corner that nobody really likes, but they also don't know how to get rid of. So
we won't. Yeah, that won't leave. He won't take the hint. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Greg, this is our show. Is that fair? Can we call it ours now? Can we, please?
I mean, we've been calling it ours for a long time.
Okay.
I haven't referred to this as my show in at least a year.
That's so not true.
Sure
But, okay, we'll go with that. Tonight's all about celebration.
And
look, we even got Marianne to get a score in.
Thank you, Marianne. And TSD says Minnie's trying to overthrow John.
Yeah, I already have.
It's true.
He's accepted it already. Greg was the last holdout.
Yep. It's fine. Hey, quick reminder for housekeeping. Make sure if you're on YouTube that you like this video, subscribe to the Corn Nation YouTube channel, and ring the bell for notifications. And hey, look, I'm going to say something that I think needs to be said. It is Thursday, November 6th. That means for the last, we'll say, I'll go ahead and say 48 hours, because we'll assume we're close enough to midnight. For the last 48 hours, you've had the ability, if you have Disney Plus, to watch Fantastic Four: First Steps. And yet here you are choosing to watch this silly nonsense. But it just goes to show that it's not just a Husker podcast or Husker YouTube show. It's a community. That's why Fred and Mr. Matney were so eager to jump in and help out earlier. It's not just the two of us. It's all of you. that make this show so special and so engaging and worth our time. So thank you to all of you. Yeah, what's it? Big Ten Media Days. Minnie, do you know anything about Big? I've never been.
I have. In fact, I have this wonderful little name tag. I treasure this. This was a fun time.
Thank you for that. And honestly, the Easter eggs, the inside jokes, it's why we're all here. So, and yes, Fantastic Four, the new one is worth a damn pit. I think you should go watch it. Stay up late, imbibe in whatever you choose.
I like this. I agree. I don't watch modern stuff either.
I mean, it's not a
You're
TV.
saying for Fantastic Four stuff. I don't even know what that is.
It's a superhero. It's.
But I don't even know how that's related to the Huskers.
I'm just saying they have a lot of entertainment options out there, including Fantastic Four First Steps, and yet they're here.
This is what you love to do, Greg. You love to take sidebars when there's nothing to do with it. It has nothing to do with the Huskers.
Yep.
And we're all here for it. So there you go.
Thank you all. We can't wait to hang out with you again next week right here on Core Nation's YouTube, Facebook, and X. For Miss 100, Minnie Hunt, I'm Greg Mahochko. This is the 5 Heart Podcast. We remind you each and every week that 5 Heart is all the heart you need. Minnie?
Yeah, and let's beat UCLA and go Big Red. Woo!